All right, so Gilbert Arenas called out Team USA this week, and there's a couple things here. They're competing in the 2023 FIBA Basketball World Cup in Indonesia. Gilbert didn't like the roster. He said, quote, "You see what Steve Kerr got? A sorry-ass group. Some of them probably don't even start for their own team." I don't know if that's necessarily true. The lineup right now, Paolo Banchero, Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson, Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton, Josh Hart, Tiny Dog Brandon Ingram, Jaren Jackson Jr., Cam Johnson, Walker Kessler, Bobby Portis, and Austin Reeves. I think almost all of them are starters.
Just two.
I was going to say maybe 2 or 3.
Bobby Portis, he's almost won 6 man a year. And I think Walker Kessler, I don't think he starts.
I don't think he starts either.
Yeah, but everybody else starts.
Everybody else on that roster is a starter, and that's not a bad roster by any shake.
You got to think about this. It's FIBA. It's not
the Olympics.
Medal. It's not the Olympics, right, where guys like Steph and all those guys who probably come out and play. But I just think this is weird. My wife brought me. She put this on my radar. She brought this to my attention because he also said something about me this week. And you go through these periods where I think guys are just pissed off at the world for whatever it may be. And I think Gilbert at this point is just trying to get clicks. And my wife wanted me to respond to him what he said about me.
What did he say about you?
I ain't hear this.
When he came out and he was talking about whose career, we talked about this, whose career would you rather have?
Oh, yeah.
James Harden to mine. And he went on to say, I didn't even read it. I told my wife I didn't want to hear it because, I don't argue with idiots because, the person on the outside don't know who the idiot is. So I just said, I don't want to hear it. And she was like, he said this, you should respond. I'm like, I give a 2 shits what he said about me. But it said something that I was basically a guy who just, rode coattails of every team I was on to win championships.
Well, that's bullshit.
And so I just, for me, I say everybody can have their opinion. That would make America so great. You can have your own opinion, even though it's, is what it is. So I don't care. Gilbert Arenas is on one this month. So he's asked me multiple times.
He has turned up this month because I've seen his name pop up like 5 different places in the last 3 weeks.
He's whatever the hot topic is, he has something to say negative about it. He's trying to become the villain or something. I don't know what he's doing. I have no beef with Gilbert. I hope Agent Orange has the best ever. I hope he gets into the Hall of Fame. I hope he wins a championship. I hope all these things.
I don't think he's getting into the Hall of Fame, bro. I think he ain't getting into the Hall of Fame, dog. He didn't do enough. Gilbert Arenas didn't do enough. He had a nice little stretch, but he didn't do enough to be a Hall of Famer.
I'm trying to take the higher road here.
No,
man.
you are. I don't. You know what?
You in the clouds with the Hall of Fame. You come down a bit.
Yeah, I hate people who pull out the "you rode someone else's coattails" line.
Yeah,
that drives me crazy because he knows probably more than anybody. If you're on an NBA roster, you're not riding anybody's coattails. You got to earn your spot. NBA roster, coach, GM, they'll cut your ass, as you well know, in a heartbeat if you're not pulling your weight.
But it's not even that. Forget that. Ask your former teammates.
Right.
How many times has Shaq said it? How many times has Kobe said it? How many times have other teammates from other teams that you won titles on said it? That should end the conversation because outside of you personally saying it, the next best thing is people that you played with vouching for you. So as long as they can vouch for you and say, nah, he was a key contributor to this thing. Hey,
that's why I told my wife wanted me to respond. I was like, I'm not doing that, Candace. Just calm down. Everybody can have their own opinion.
But I get it from her perspective. It's like if you feel disrespected. And that's a very disrespectful thing to throw on somebody.
I don't feel disrespected. This is for me. I say, okay, this is coming from a guy who, he's mad at the world. Yeah. He didn't win a championship. He's never done anything but score a lot of points. He wasn't a defensive player.
Bona fide player though.
Yeah, great player. That's what And when you get a nickname, to me, you've made it in this league. Agent Zero. So hey, I'm cool with. He is. I have no beef with him. He's asked me multiple times to come on this podcast before this came out. I just hadn't had time to do it. So even now, if he asked me to come, if I had time, I would do it. So I got no beef with him.
You know what could be worse though?
What's that?
I always look at it like this. People can always not talk about you at all. There are guys who they've come and gone, and it's kind of they've gone into the abyss and they've kind of just been forgotten. And if your name just kind of continues to circulate in this in rotation, then
yeah, but I don't want to be like with you. Like you have a very good reputation in the NBA. I think everybody we've ever had on this show genuinely loves you and respects you. Like I can't think of a guest we've had on here who's like, oh, I'm ready to pick a fight with Rob. Like everybody that comes on is like, yo, and they like it's that like keep your name out in that light.
Yeah.
You don't need to stoop to the depths of I'm going to talk shit about Team USA or I'm going to crap on somebody else's career just to keep my name relevant. Like I don't like that.
Part of that is even when it came to the Team USA. I mean, I can kind of understand.
Well, I brought it up just because we're talking about Team USA. I got audio from Trae Young. I was just using Gilbert as a jumping off point, but it's like, I don't know, man.
Trae didn't make the team?
No, he did not.
He got cut or something? They didn't try out?
No, I don't think he was invited to play. Now, he said he wanted. So here's the audio. This is Trae Young.
Do you want to play on that Olympic team? Have you given that some thought?
Man, I mean, obviously, like, I definitely want to. Like, I've talked about playing on USA a couple times, so I definitely want to. It's up to them if they want me to. I mean, I would love to play with guys and show off my passing even more and not have to go out and score a lot and just be there if they need me to. So, I mean, I'd be happy to, obviously. I'd love to play, but I respect the OGs and understand you got to take your turn, but I believe I should be on.
So, yeah, he just believes he should be on that team, and he should have been invited. He was not. You think Trae should be on that team with that roster I gave you a few minutes ago?
Well, would you take Trae or Josh Hart? That's the only person I could see him probably, and there's no disrespect with Josh. I think Josh is a better defender, but I think Trae is a better scorer. What is Team USA looking for? That's what you have to look about. Right. Like if you look you got a bunch of damn guards already on that team.
Yeah, you sure do.
And they're big guards, and so I think the smallest guard over there was Jalen Brunson, but he's still a big guard. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's like he. But also he did say Olympic team, and this is not the Olympic team.
No, it's not. It's not. But
I'm pretty sure he would have loved to get some run out there on this team. I wonder if there was this stretch when it came down to Trae Young where there were some people who he wasn't in the best light with a lot of people, with a lot of players around the league, and even maybe with some coaches. I wonder if when it comes down to this FIBA team and even the World Cup team, if that still has some lingering effect when it comes to maybe the way that he plays or how guys feel about the way that he plays or how coaches and executives see him around the league. And they know that he's a really great player. But what if they just don't see him as the type of player that they want to have on that team? I think he should be on that team in some capacity, on both of them. But what if, you start looking at the players and what you need them to do and how they match up with some of these other countries. Maybe some of these coaches don't see him as a fit.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's the coach's choice, and this is who they want, and this is who they're going to invite. And I totally agree with you on that one because, when you're a villain, unless you're a Dennis Rodman, that's really exceptional at a niche like rebounding, so because scoring wise, if you look at that team, there's a lot of dudes on that team who can score. So if he was a lockdown defender that was like hated, he would be on the squad.
Yeah, that's true. It's a good point. Very good point. And you're right. This is a very guard heavy roster.
Whoa, it takes really good guard play to win in FIBA and in the Olympics. You look at even like the Redeem team.
You got to move that basketball.
Like those guys who can handle the ball, who are very athletic and can set up offenses. That's why you've had USA be so successful in the last so many years.